Hey everyone, it's Sunday, the 31st of August. We had a cracking day of football yesterday, lots to catch up on. We've got 4 premium games to preview today, and we've also got a crypto market to preview and have a look at. Welcome to the Ball and Chain. Grab a cup of coffee and let's get started. Okay, as it's the weekend, we're going to start with crypto. Quicker than our football update. Let's get going. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the top 10 coins by market cap. We've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance coin. Now, Binance has done pretty well this market. It's been booming. But if I just have a quick look on CoinGecko at where we're at now, we can see that the market is up in total by 0.5%. Pretty good to see that, to be honest. Bitcoin 0.1% in last hour. It's roughly hammering around that $108,000. Look, we need to see 110 by the close of play tonight. If we don't, could be tricky. Ethereum would be good to get to $4,500. It's up 2.6% in the last 24 hours. You can see the Bitcoin staying steady, Ethereum rising. Are we seeing that shift towards Ethereum? I think we've been seeing it over the last few weeks. It's massively up against Bitcoin. It looks like the start of alt system, but let's not get too excited. It is September. Anything can happen. Looking just up and down the top 10 at the moment. Not much movement. Pretty much sideways. We're talking a few 0 point something percent up or down across the top 10. Just scrolling a bit further down the markets, it's all pretty similar. Nothing major in the last hour. Some decent moves to the green in 24 hours, so we are seeing positive momentum in the last day, which is always good to see. Moving into a brand new week. However, 7 days we're definitely down on a week, so we're looking to reverse that hopefully this week. But it is September. Who knows what can happen. Just looking at the fear and greed index today, down to 48, still on neutral, but it's very cautious market sentiment at the moment. And again, that aligns with what we're seeing on X, or Twitter as it was previously known. We're seeing a cooling off period with a spike in volatility, with traders hedging bets against that Fed speech that we had last week, and some data coming out this week. Coin bubbles again showing moderate activity in mid-cap altcoins. No real bullish or bearish domination there. It's pretty neutral at the moment. So what do you think? Are we going to go up and down? What's this week going to look like? It's going to be an interesting week. We're at month close today. How are we going to close against that up and down, that EMA? What's going to happen? The daily and the monthly. It's all very tight at the moment. Top 5 gainers. We've got OpenVP that's up 32%, Story up 29%, Dolomite up 34%. Lots of different alts, like really obscure alts, seem to be doing well. Looking at losers, Bitcoin's down, Polkadot and Cardano down. Polkadot's just been an absolute. I did put money on Polkadot during the dip after the last bull run, and it's just not worked out. That has been one of my worst plays, but it's not all doom and gloom. We've had some good movement, but yeah, Polkadot and Cardano just we're waiting for them to wake up, aren't we? Bit of a sleeping old school giant there. All right, technical and fundamental analysis. Let's move on to that. Bitcoin technicals. Trading below the 1 day moving average 50, the blue trend line, after a correction from its all-time high on the 14th of August of 124,500, signalling quite bearish momentum. Not a surprise for September though, so we shouldn't be shocked. Don't panic. This usually happens. This is historically it's usually a red month. August is usually green. Moving into September gets red, and then notoriously October. Let's hope we get October. The RSI overbought signals noticed recently, and we've seen that a lot of whales selling off or rotating into ETH. And a potential pullback if the macro conditions weaken. 24-hour trading volume is down, but that's in the market we exist in today. I'm not surprised by that, actually. I'm not surprised at all. We've got institutions buying and they don't buy at weekends. So, and large ETFs. So expect those volumes to go up tomorrow. And that could be good or bad. Who knows? Let me know in the comments if you think we're going to see rotations from BTC to ETH and the ETF switching, or are we going to continue with the daddy with BTC? What do you think? Let me know. Okay, fundamentals. Bitcoin dominance is slightly down. Again, signals we might be moving into alt season. So my outlook: short-term bearish due to the correction, but long-term bullish. Like long-term bullish for this cycle. We're not through with the bull run, I don't believe yet. I think we've got at least till the end of the year. Q4 is usually bullish. Don't quote me on that. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but personally, I'm hedging on it being a bullish end to the year and us all getting nice Christmas presents this year. If those Fed rate cuts materialise, we know the pressure Trump is putting on Powell. Those rate cuts will happen, and America sets the tone for the rest of the world with rates and the markets. So we need to keep an eye on that, and I will be keeping an eye on that. Keep following this channel, keep liking and subscribing, click that bell so you don't miss a beat. So if anything changes on the macro or the fundamental level, you'll be the first to know. Ethereum, it's near resistance. 4350 is that resistance. If we cross over that, we're in a really good space. But the RSI is signaling it's slightly overbought, so we just need to be careful there. We've got a 20-day SMA, which is 4,200 providing support. So as long as we stay above that and we can get above 4350, $1,000 for ETH, we're in a really good place, and it's looking good. But again, we're approaching 70 on the RSI, which signals potentially being overbought, so we just need to be mindful of that. It's down a little bit in terms of trading volume, but again, like I say, institutions and ETFs with ETH are massively impacting that price, both positively and negatively. So just because on a Sunday it's down, that's not a bad thing. That's probably to be expected with the new wave, the 2025 way that the markets are acting, particularly on the daddy of all crypto, BTC, and also the daddy of alts, ETH. So let's just see how they go on. Okay, fundamentals. Again, the market count strong DeFi activity, 24% of total crypto volume, and Coinbase as layer 2 is boosting ETH's utility for trading and DeFi. So the outlook for this week: neutral to bullish. Depends on the resistance and the break and the testing of that critical zone for a breakout. So we're looking at above 4350 for that breakout and potentially to push higher, and the bullish case playing out. If it drops below 4200, it's looking bearish. So just be mindful of that. Try to just measure their markets, keep an eye on that, because they're key levels that we need to look out for over the course of this week. So general for altcoins: most altcoins show 1 to 3% decline over the weekend. However, it's changed slightly this morning. We've had a bit of an upturn since I first looked at this last night at the very early hours of my morning. It's looking a bit better. We're seeing high volatility in small cap coins. That's nothing new. That's the norm. RSI's varying. We're trending coins like OpenVP and Dolomite lightly overbought. So just be careful. Don't ape in. Don't FOMO into those. If they're high and showing like 20, 30%, even 70% gains, like just be wary if you're entering into the markets there. Fundamentals, altcoin season shifting to neutral. So we've got no clear indication. It's not been an easy one to track, this one, has it, this year? No clear dominance shift. Projects like Story and Dolomite gain from niche use cases like gaming and DeFi. So maybe they're the plays this year. Maybe gaming and DeFi are going to be the ones that really benefit when we finally do see alt season, if we see alt season. So outlook: select opportunities in trending altcoins, but it's a risk off sentiment that's dominated. So be careful with those altcoin picks. I don't think this year it's going to be one of them years where no matter what coin you get, it's going to boom. I think it's going to be difficult this year, so just be mindful of that. Altcoin picks are dangerous, and you need to be ultra clear and do your own research and make sure you're clear on those. And the fundamentals, the technical analysis, put it all together. It's not just one that dictates it, it's all of them together. So do your research on all projects, make sure they're active, make sure they've got a good community, good developers, make sure the tokenomics look good, and the markets are set up for it. Keep an eye on that. Okay, let's have a look at the macro conditions and political news, because that does have a massive bearing on the markets. So current market conditions, global market cap is up, which is great, to 3.77 trillion. 24-hour volume is down. Again, not surprised by that. It's the weekend. You've mainly got retail investors. You've got no institutions buying at the weekend. So that's all on. It's neutral sentiment, so neither fear or greed, which is really difficult to predict when you buy in. You know, the rule of thumb is if it's greed, sell. If it's fear, buy. And if it gets into those extremes, you go in harder or sell faster. So we've still got a lot of uncertainty. I think Jerome Powell, initially we all thought it was bullish when he gave his speech at the Jackson Hole. We really saw a big increase in investment during that Friday. It's petered off in the last week because we've seen some odd data points and some political tensions in Ukraine and also Israel that are making investors wary, so just be mindful of that. So Fed policies, I mean, as I've said, investors are cautious ahead of the PCE inflation data and the Fed leadership uncertainty. You know, Trump for a while now has been saying that Powell's on his way out. Is he? What's going to happen? Let me know. Do you think that Trump is going to pull rank and dethrone Powell? Or are we going to see Powell staying in and bowing down to the pressure from Trump and reducing those rates? Is it going to be 25? Is it going to be 50 basis points? What do you think? Okay, if we did see, there's a 92% actually market expectation for rate cuts, and that will definitely boost liquidity. And crypto prices will be on crypto prices, we'll see positive action if that's confirmed at the end of the month. Okay, political news. So we've got pro-US president and SEC policies are unprecedentedly positive, which is the first time we've seen. You know, we've got a pro-crypto president, and policies that have been set with the Genius Act are very, very much on the positive for crypto. Not commenting on anything else, but on crypto, it's definitely positive. And that's supporting long-term adoption, but there's short-term jitters from those Fed speeches and the macro data points that we're seeing in the last week or so. So be mindful of that. So this week coming up, we've got no meetings of any significance, but the recent remarks from Powell and the upcoming PCE data, that's critical. The next meeting, the next FOMC meetings or FOMC meeting is going to be in September. I think it's around the 17th, 18th of September. That will influence the rate cut expectations and firm up if we are actually going to cut rates. So major notes for next week. Let's keep and monitor the PCE inflation data. That's expected to release soon, and that'll definitely give us a clue, and you'll see the prices react to those Fed rate cuts. Watch altcoins for breakout. We've seen Crow do like a 30% over the last week. I saw that like at 19-20 cents, and I'm thinking that looks hot. I should go in. I didn't, and then I saw it at 32 cents. I'm like, oh man, what I missed an opportunity. But that happens. I resisted the urge to FOMO in, and it's dropped back down to 29-28 cents. So if I'd have gone in and I bought high, so the FOMO nearly got me. I pulled back, hold my horses, just see how it plays out. I'm good that I missed it, but glad I didn't ape in at its high. Keep an eye on that. Crow's a good one to watch. Hype's another one. Again, Sue, they're all offered really great returns over the last 6 months. If they do start dipping down to key levels, I'll be keeping an eye on those. Chainlink's another good one. Not financial. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just giving you entertainment purposes and some education, hopefully, on what's happening, and giving you my view and my take. This is just my personal take on what I think is going to happen in the markets over the next few weeks, months, etc., etc. So my final closing thoughts are just be cautious of volatility spikes if macro signals disappoint, so we might see some downside depending on the data. Again, it's all on the data. Investors are very switched on, one step ahead. If the data looks good, people will pile into crypto. If the data looks bad, people will pile out and go to more safer havens. So just be mindful of that this week. Try to keep it simple until we get a clear indication either way. I think just keep it sensible and keep it simple this week. Just keep your eye on the news, keep you subscribed, and get them alerts for this channel. We'll keep you updated as things change and as things move over the course of this week. All right. So one play that people are recommending or seems to be is this play called Story. We're looking at like gains there of maybe around 20%. If it gets up to 0.18, so keep an eye on Story. That's one that I'm having a look at. It looks positive from its analysis, and that's my play for today. Again, anything could happen. It could get dumped by a whale, but just keep an eye on that one, and just see how that plays out. If we see some positive movement there, then it could be good. So at the moment it's around, the entry point is a long one. We're looking at 15 cents, and then stop loss at like 13 cents, profit taking at 18 cents, and then we've got a good risk reward set up. I think it's 1 to 1.5 there, gains on that. So just keep an eye on that one today. That one looks like it's got a really good story. And that's the crypto summary for today. Let me know in the comments what you think. What's the data going to point to? Are we going to see the institutions pulling in, piling in? Are we going to see rotation from BTC to ETH? What's the data going to tell us? What do you think? Are we going to have a positive week or a negative week? Are we going to be green or red this week as we move into September? Is September going to play out to historic values of being down, or are we gonna see a change? Personally, I actually think it'll be bearish to neutral for the next few weeks, and then when we get that decision, I'm sure it'll go down. I'm sure we'll get a 25% basis cut. If that happens, I think it's going to be bullish, and we will see October, and we'll start to see it ramp up in September. They were towards the latter part of September, but these next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be pretty neutral, and we'll probably get a lot of sideways consolidation towards dips. So just keep an eye on that, and yeah, let's see how that plays out. Okay, let's move on to football now. Let's have a look at what's going on over the weekend. So yesterday, what a day. Yeah, great outcomes. Bournemouth beating Tottenham has got to be the coupon buster, the acca killer of the weekend. I think Tottenham were heavily tipped, especially after their victory against Manchester City last week. But Evan Nielsen's strike and some missed opportunities. But I've got to say, Vicario in the net for Tottenham made some amazing saves. Like, it could have been 3 or 4, and then Tottenham made a late play late on, but yeah, not what we expected, and not what I think the punters who were betting expected. But we'll see what Xavi Simons does when he comes in. Is he going to have an impact for Tottenham? Let me know. Do you think he's a premium sign. He's a very good sign, a really good bit of business for Spurs. How do you think he's going to get on? Do you think he'll start in the next game? Let me know in the comments. Everton, again, Grealish on fire. Couple of assists. Ndiaye doing what Ndiaye does. I'm a Sheffield United fan. And he was a wonder boy for us. An absolute star. Great to see him performing at the highest level. Kind of wish we still had him. I think if we'd have had him in the Prem, it would have been a different story, but it would have been more entertaining with him. Class player, great to see him getting on the score sheet. The Everton beat Wolves 3-2 in a highly competitive game. Some great football on show, great for a neutral. Watched it this morning on Match of the Day, watched the highlights, looked a great game. Disappointing for me because I brought Pickford in, which was an absolute... not the best decision to drop Sanchez and bring him in, but we are where we are. Sunderland beat Brentford 2-1. Look, Sunderland, wow. I mean, I was gutted when you guys beat us in the playoffs, but what a transformation. You've brought in some class players and you're playing really well. Fair play to you. You've gone into the Premiership and you've gone for it. You've invested. Manager's smart guy, great manager, and another really great result. Bit of a last gasp header from Isidore. To welcome in his daughter into the world as well. So what a fantastic way to crown off what's been a great week for him. Chelsea, dominant against Fulham, although some questionable decisions on the penalty. What did you think? Was it a penalty? What should that goal have been disallowed for was it King? He scored a great goal. It was a bit harsh for me. That got disallowed. And then João Pedro doing what João Pedro does. Great header. And then Enzo Fernandez, not only with the assist but also with the penalty. So if you've got him in your dream team, you've done very well. But definitely Pedro's becoming a dream team wonder, isn't he? And had another good game. Delap got injured. Not sure what that means to the whole transfer saga around Nicholas Jackson, who was in Munich. Very close to finalising his loan move with an option to buy to Bayern Munich, but then Chelsea's on the phone to Bayern, putting a pause. He's in limbo on this plane or in Munich, and now who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen in the next 24 hours on that one? But again, great win for Chelsea. That puts them top of the table at the moment. Man United, 3-2 victory against Burnley. Again, another incredibly entertaining game. Bruno Fernandes stoppage time penalty. Enough said. Was it a penalty? It was a pull in the box. He's got his shirt. Is it enough to give him a penalty? I don't know, but it's Old Trafford. It's 97th minute. What are you going to do? I had a great fight back from Burnley. I thought they were highly competitive. I actually thought that game would be. It wasn't one that I was going to put on a coupon this week because I was sceptical with Man U getting beaten by Grimsby. They are a wounded animal. It could have gone one way or the other. But they struggled against Burnley, and Burnley put up a lot of fights. So credit to Burnley. But Man U at home to Burnley should be trouncing teams like that. It's just disappointing. Man U things. What do you think? Do you think it was a penalty? How do you feel the team performed defensively? That first goal, great cross, but it was allowed so much space. Put it into that key zone between defence and keeper, and slotted in. What do you think? Do we think that was it just great play? Or was it again poor defending? We had some moments with the keeper situation again. We don't seem to have much luck with Man U there, do we? With the keeper, whoever you play, whether it's Onana, or yeah, it's a difficult one. So let me know what you think. And Man U fans, how are you feeling? Are you positive after the result? Do you think things are going to be turned around? Is the guy going to get his 5-game haircut? That's recently been with a massive afro. Is that going to happen or not? Discuss Stu. Is he going to get his haircut? Do we think we're going to get another 4 wins on the bounce, or is he going to be plaiting that hair in a few weeks? Newcastle Leeds, didn't watch it, but from what I've seen, Newcastle's winless run extends. Good point for Leeds. That pains me to say, but yeah, a good point. 0-0 draw. Good for fantasy managers if you've got the defences or keepers in your team. Leeds, they had to respond from that 5-0 defeat to Arsenal, and getting a point against Newcastle is a great response for them. Calvert-Lewin could have got something in the end. What do we think about the signing of Calvert-Lewin? Not particularly impressive in his last 2 games, but it's early days for him. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a class player if he can stay fit. Oh, Newcastle. Wow, what's going to happen in these next 2 days? You've already got a new record transfer striker from Stuttgart. Are we going to see Isak go? And are we going to see Visser move from Brentford to Newcastle? Or is it going to be Strand Rawson from Wolves? He wasn't in the starting squad yesterday. So is that a sign? Is he on the move as well? So lots to think about, lots to see. Championship, we'll go through some notable games there. Unfortunately, my team, Sheffield United, lost 1-0 to Middlesbrough. Massively disappointing performance. I thought it was better, don't get me wrong. Tanganga, what a signing. He looks an absolute monster. Played amazingly well. Very impressed with his stats. Very impressed with his performance. I think it could have been 3 or 4 had it not been for him. I think it was a really telling moment when the camera panned to him and he was there shaking his head on about the 80th minute, because it's like, what have I come to? And I completely understand that. I'm not going to jump on board with what our fans were singing at the end of the game, saying you're going to get sacked in the morning to Ruben Sayers. I think that was a bit out of order. But I do agree, the performances. And it's not only a performance, right? Some of the decisions that he makes and some of the tactical choices he's made are just bad. So I can understand the fans getting on his back. I know people who aren't Sheffield United fans have been saying, the fans should support the manager, but honestly, some of the decisions he's made with selections and substitutions and tactically just make no sense. I know he's getting used to the club and I know we need to get him time, but he's 5 games in now. He had a full pre-season or a decent chunk of pre-season. We've made some great signings. I think we've got a right to expect a little bit better. But on the flip side, Middlesbrough, top of the shop, well done. Kept a clean sheet, although it was pretty easy. I think I could have kept a clean sheet against us. We've got no attacking threat in the final third, but awesome 3 points. Rob Edwards doing bits there. I think he's turning it around. I think they're going to be really competitive this season. Do we think Middlesbrough are going to go up? Are they going to be a Premiership team next season? Or, I can't believe I'm saying this, Sheffield United going to go down? Wednesday had another defeat to Swansea. They're in all sorts of trouble financially. You know, they've got players who've just left. It's a really dire situation. And, you know, look, I'm a Sheffielder. I love my city. I would love to see us as competitive as Manchester and have two top clubs. That's how I feel. So I'm gutted. But obviously, you know, it is what it is. They fought really well against Leeds the other week. So, you know, I think props to them, props to their spirit of the players who are playing for them. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. It don't look good for Wednesday. And even if a takeover does come through, you still got them transfer embargo stuff. I think it looks pretty dire for Sheffield Wednesday, unfortunately, as a Sheffielder. But who knows? We could see turnarounds. Football's a funny old game, isn't it? But a great 3 points for Swansea. They've done the Sheffield double already, which is painful. So a good result for Swansea. Coventry's recent momentum got pulled to a halt. They drew at Oxford again. I think that might have been a coupon buster. So just to pick out some notable results there. There's probably some others. Leicester got a good result against Birmingham on Friday. So it looks like it's going to be a competitive league, but it's playing out kind of how we expected. We'll see how Ipswich get on. We're playing them next week. So away. So who knows what's going to happen. Just some updates there from the Championship and Premier League. So in the Premier League today, we've got 6 premium fixtures. We've got Brighton taking on Manchester City at 2 p.m. UK time. We've also got Forest at that same time taking on a struggling West Ham. Forest are buoyant, doing well. However, there's been some weird rumours about their manager leaving. So and some fallout with the chairman, who we know is a bit of a character. What do we think about that, Forest fans? Do you want Nuno to stay, or would you rather add Ange there? Postecoglou, there's been talk about the ex-Tottenham manager joining Forest. Is that going to happen? West Ham fans, Potter can't work his magic this season. Seems to have left him. What's the spell that's going to bring West Ham back? Is Potter the man to stick with, or do you need a change? Do we need a new manager in at West Ham? Are you gunning for that, or do you think they should give Potter time? What's your view? How do you feel about your signings this season? Have you signed well? Do you feel looks a decent player? But what do you think? Has there been enough? Hasn't there been enough? Forest fans, some good business. You got James McAtee. You seem to be getting all our previous good loan players. You got Morgan Gibbs-White. Now you got McAtee. Class player, top player. I really liked him. Right attitude. What do you think? Where are we going with him? Where we're going with Forest? And then the big game of the day at 4:30 p.m. UK time. Liverpool taking on Arsenal. Going to be a good game, whatever. I think we've got two front foot teams. Honest Slot's smashing it. They've made some great signings who've had an instant impact. Verts maybe not so much, but I still, he's a young player, highly talented. I think we're going to see something from him. But I think Premier fantasy managers have been a little bit disappointed with their points return. I suspect he's been transferred out for others like Gakpo, who's scoring pretty well. Salah's a premium signing, hasn't quite hit the notes yet. Is today the day? On the biggest stage, in the biggest game, is Salah going to come to life? Let us know. The Egyptian giant, is the Egyptian god going to come in and blitz it today? Or are we going to see Gyökeres take the show and start scoring and set the Premier League alight in the biggest moments, in the biggest stage? Arsenal, Liverpool fans, let me know what's going to happen today. Are we going to see the results? Are we going to see either team? I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Both teams to score over 2.5 goals. Looks like a good play today. But what do we think? What do you think? Tell me in the comments what's going down. And then our final game of the day is Aston Villa hosting Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace have been on a great run, but they've had a difficult time in the Europa Conference League qualification. So how are they going to be today? They expelled a lot of energy in that game. They've got through just. And Glaston's got on playing so well. There's been talk about him replacing Almiron at Man U. There's been a lot of rumour. Good manager. What do we think? Do we think he's going to stay? If so, where do we think Palace are going to end up? They they played very well. They finished the season well, won the Charity Shield, won the FA Cup. Really, really good team. How do we think they're going to get on Villa? Villa seem to be the favourites today, but they're going into it not in great form. So what do we think? Do we think Villa? Do we think Palace? I think it's got draw written all over it for me with a low-scoring game. But we'll see. You know, it could end up being an absolute smashing goal fest. Who knows? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Okay, let's go. Well, we've got an international break. So international breaks, right? I used to love watching England. Now I just want to fall asleep during them. I don't find it much fun anymore. The only time I really enjoy watching England is during tournament football, and that's so sad because I used to love watching England every game. So anyway, Tuchel selected his squad for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers against Andorra and Serbia. Yep. Greg Grealish pushing for a recall after his strong form with Everton, but Rashford's in. No Trent Arnold. What do we think about that? It's quite surprising after his move to Real Madrid. What do we think? Anyway, we'll move on. So we've got England against Andorra and England against Serbia in the next couple of weeks. While we take a break from the Premiership. And to catch our breath, really, it's been a phonetic start, hasn't it? Okay, let's have a look at some of the transfer rumours. So Garnacho to Chelsea, who was at the game yesterday, looks highly likely it's going to happen. Fabrizio's already called it. That means it's 95% there when we get a here we go. But always remember, here we goes don't necessarily mean we've got the transfer. It's nailed and sealed. It isn't. We've seen that with Morgan Gibbs White. We got a here we go, and Fabrizio was on his Insta. Giving it back to people, we're giving him hassle about that. Some salty fans there, but I can understand it. You know, you get excited about a premium player coming, and it doesn't happen because the chairman pulls the plug on it last minute. So yeah, Garnacho looks like it's there though. He was there. I think barring anything crazy, he's gonna be there. Xavi Simons to Tottenham. We saw him at the ground yesterday, getting unveiled. That's definitely done. That's confirmed. We're in, and I think so is Garnacho, more or less confirmed. I think we can say that. So we've got some rumours. Jadon Sancho, rumoured to be going to Tottenham. That's a bit of a left field one, and seen as an ideal replacement for Son Min. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see about that with Simons. Does that change the fact? Who knows? Strand Larson, Wolves to Newcastle. They've had a bid rejected, but with Isak potentially going the other way, is that going to open the door for Strand Larson, or are they going to go for Visser? Which one's it going to be? Let me know in the comments. Nicholas Jackson, Chelsea to Bayern. Is that going to happen because of Delap's injuries? I'm not so sure now. It looked dead certain. He was frozen out of the squad. Could Maresca have to actually do a 360, turn it back around and bring him back in? That would be crazy if that happened. How's Jackson going to respond? Is he going to respond positively, bang goals in, and then start shushing the manager? What's going to happen? Let me know. Do you think that's going to happen? Boyanate to Leeds. Apparently he was going to go to Chelsea. Now Leeds are trying to sign him, but he missed. It could be falling through as he missed his scheduled flight to Leeds. That feels a bit dodgy to me. I wonder if he's gone to Chelsea. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So we've got a huge amount of speculation around. I've just highlighted the key ones. So some team news and availability right across the Premiership. We know Delap. He's injured. He's got a hamstring injury, so it could be a few weeks out. It's not a couple of games. It's a few weeks with the international break. Does that give him enough time to recover though for the next game? Can they make some tactical switches so they can still let Jackson go to Munich? What do you think? How's it going to play out? Cole Palmer was available for Fulham. Don't know what that means about him for England. And also, what's the longer term future for Cole? He's not really fired this season. Heavily backed in the fantasy leagues, but now transferred out en masse. Is that a sign that he's not going to perform this season, or do we think he'll turn it around? Again, let me know in the comments. Destiny and Doge returned yesterday, which was good. Savinho is on the sidelines for Man City. He was another one that Tottenham were rumoured with. Are Tottenham going to go for him, or are they going for Sancho? Or are they stopped? Have they done the business with Simon? Some great business there. What do you think, Spurs fans? Who are you going to sign next? Arsenal, Saka's ruled out. And we don't know about Odegaard. He had a shoulder injury in the last game. Looked pretty sore, got taken off. I think that was precautionary, and I think he'll be back today. Biggest game, one of the biggest games of the season. You want your best players. I suspect if he can play, he will play. Again, Man United will just focus on that. Apparently, there's no new injuries, so they have a full largely a full complement of players, depending on those who are in and out. So yeah, some real interesting developments in the championship. We've got Edwards obviously has got off to a fantastic, and he's praising his team for a dream start and says they've been a dream to work with. It certainly looks like that from the results, doesn't it? So let's see what's happened. So we've got some predictions for today's game. These are just analytical ones that we've produced. Definitely not advocating these for gambling or anything. It's just for entertainment and education purposes. So we've got Man City beating Brighton today 2-1. I think City's depth to edge out Brighton's attacking flair. I think it'll be a goal scoring game, and I think it'll be City or draw, something like that. We've then got Forest taking on West Ham. I suspect it's going to be a Forest win. I don't know if it's going to be both teams to score, but I can't see anything but a Forest win. Liverpool and Arsenal, it's going to be a tough one. I can't call it. My view is both teams to score over 2.5 goals. It's difficult to call. I think if anyone edges it, it's Liverpool at home. Villa and Palace, I think it'll be a low scoring game. If I was playing it safe, I'd say under 3.5. I don't like betting on unders though, because every time I do, it's always a goal fest. So that's a real tough one to call for me on this one. And that's it. That's our roundup for this week. That's today's roundup for the game. So, okay, where are we going to start? I need some stuff in the comments because there's so much going on. Crypto, what's going to happen next week? What's happening with the Fed? How are we seeing it play? Are we seeing alt season? Are we seeing October? Are we seeing a down September? Let me know in the comments. If you're tracking a coin, what coin are you tracking and why? Which ones are going to blow up in the next few weeks? Let me know. On football side, transfer deadline day tomorrow. What's happening? Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your plays. Games yesterday. How do we think they went? Did your team win? If so, how are you feeling at the start of the season? We're a few games in now, going into the international break. Chance to take a pause for a minute. How are you summarising? How's your team got on? Sure, you got to be better than mine. How's your team got on? Let me know. Look, that brings us to a close for our first ever full episode of Ball and Chain. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you stayed with me. Remember to like and subscribe. And remember, not financial advice. This is just education and entertainment. And I hope it has been entertaining and in some respects educational for you. Looking forward to delivering my next update. Might be tomorrow or Tuesday. Big week coming up. So definitely look out for us. Make sure you try and smash that subscribe. And also ping the alert button so you don't miss the next play that happens and the next video, so you get that up to the date alpha. Thanks again. Cheers everyone. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I look forward to connecting with you again next week. Have a great one. Bye now.